Well, hello, everybody. This is TexAgs Rewind. I am David Nuno with the Fan Show guys. Say hello.
What up?
Matt Brown and Kevin Ross. So I thought you were going to play a trick on me.
Oh, yeah?
I know another Kevin Ross.
Do you?
Yeah, he's a ABC 13 weather anchor.
Really?
I was like, really? Yeah. So I hope that's his real name. Yeah, Kevin Ross. Yeah. I was like, maybe he's pulling the old switcheroo on me.
No. This is the OG.
This is the original.
This is the original Kevin Ross right here. So,
good job on the show today.
Thank you.
So today on the program, unfortunately, we had these guys on. They were good, actually.
Fan
so
show.
yeah, we had Chris Gordy on SportsTalk 790 SEC Talk with him. We had Aaron Torres. I know you're a big Aaron Torres guy.
Dude, Aaron Torres is good.
Yeah, Pounding the Rock with Tap and Logan. Talked some Aggie basketball, and also Liucci's favorite moments from 2022. Check it out. It's TexAgs Rewind. Just a lot of stuff happened over the last 12 months. Just kind of wanted you to reflect on it and what it meant to your career.
Well, you named everything. I mean, by the way, how about take a look at Kansas's offensive coordinator? You talked about yesterday's game. What they've been able to do there has been pretty remarkable in the last year or two. Really, year and a half, I guess. But as far as this year, look, man, it's always fun. Some years it's less fun than others. Football doesn't define everything, but it is this year-round sort of build-up to it, and it is the biggest of all of it. It's the most grandiose. It's what's the most covered. It's what we spend the most time on. So when a football season goes the way this A&M season did, and in particular when it falls off the rails so quickly, you wait all year for it. You're a preseason number 6 team. And in the second week, you lose it home to App State. And by midseason, it's over. There was not a whole lot fun about it. But covering the team and stuff, you learn something new every year. And this year was interesting. Feelings got hurt, feelings got smoothed over. You just go about it. You learn something new every year. It happens every time in different ways. And you just learn how to navigate it. And you still manage to enjoy your job, and you maintain relationships, and you keep the job fun. And I had fun with it. Sometimes, as the intensity, the battle of it, kind of gives you a little extra juice there. And it was like an intense season with people being upset on the boards and the fans, and it was, all your conversations around town or what the heck. Sometimes that you'd rather it be the alternative, but there's some energy in that too, and there's some fun in that too. And look, the season in football stunk, but I had about 5 weeks there that, whether it was on personal, just hey, that was a fun weekend, or fun football, that I really enjoyed. I mean, obviously LSU, no doubt about it. Season opener, all that excitement. Miami weekend, before you knew it was going to be a wash season, was great. That win at home. And then you go out and beat Arkansas the way you did in Jerry World. And that Alabama game was a whole hell of a lot of unexpected excitement and fun in Tuscaloosa, being right there with you and I standing down there. We're right there for a final play from 2 yards out to knock off number 1 in Tuscaloosa. So there were some high points to an otherwise low season as far as covering it. But, yeah, it started to drag, the press conferences and just not a lot being said. It started to drag, but it's still, if you look at the whole calendar sports year, I've been doing this a long time. I've never seen Texas A&M sign a class like they signed. So that run-up was incredible. Then the Jimbo Nick Saban feud was like nothing I'd ever covered, not to mention the fact that I was playing in Chicago when the press conference was announced that it was happening, and then when it started happening. So that was wild.
I don't think so. Not yet. I think they're working towards it. I think Buzz has kind of narrowed the roster down a little, but I still think that there are going to be those times where they're going to get in a tough situation and they're going to be lost for a second. And because they haven't had to do it against a good basketball team yet. And so when the SEC opponents start throwing haymakers, you're going to see them get lost for a little while. It's how can they adjust? And we've seen the beginnings of them being able to adjust in game, which we hadn't seen at the earlier part of the season. But I still don't think that we've seen what we need to be satisfied or to be content with what's on the court right now.
I agree. I don't think their identity is there at all. You know, certainly I'd love to see them be able to come out and start a little faster than they seem to have been doing. You know, and I did notice, and maybe it was just me, I was able to watch the game a little, you know, last night, this morning, because I was driving back during the game. And I did see Wade Taylor was off the ball a little bit more. And I know you and I talked about that last week, Logan. That's where we'd like to see him. Not that Buzz is taking our advice, but I just think it fits that team better with him, with the ball not in his hand as much.
Yeah, and I think I would love to see Andre Gordon play a bigger role. And I don't think, and when I say a bigger role, I don't mean he needs more minutes. I think his 16 minutes to 18 minutes a game is really good for this team. I just think that he needs to be more aggressive, more assertive when he's on the court, because I really thought that he's what changed the game against Northwestern State. His tenacity on defense. He's the only one that, and I don't want to say the only one because I think Dexter Dennis has it too. He's the only one on defense that has that dog in him that is going to look his opponent in the eye and say, I'm better than you. I'm going to stop you. And that's the leadership that this team needs, especially because they don't have a lot of those vocal guys. And so if he can solidify his place and his role, I think a lot of other people fall into a much better position on this team.
You know, and I'm glad you brought him up, because that was one of my mental notes that I had, is when they made the move in the first half, Andre Gordon was on the floor. And, you know, you always say it's more important who ends the game than starts the game. And he was in for the final 8 minutes, I think, of that ball game too. But when you say you don't think minutes, there was times I thought, I was hoping that they would have gone to him sooner in that first half than they did. And that's where I think, you know, that's where Buzz has realized it's still trying to work on the rotation, is when do I make the move on some of these players?
Who's the best team in college basketball?
Yeah, I think it's UConn. You know, and I don't say that as an alum. They're 14-0, 13 wins by double figures, all until last night against Villanova. And if you just watch them, I mean, one, they have 3-4 guys that are probably going to play in the NBA next year. Two, you know, they really have no real significant weakness. They rebound the ball really well. They pass the ball and move the ball really well. They shoot the ball really well. And so, listen, I don't think they're a team that it's going to take, you know, a Hercules. Like there are teams that you know are going to run through the regular season with only 1 or 2 losses. I don't know if this is that kind of team, but I do think they're going to be in great position to get a number 1 seed. Obviously, that would put them, you know, if they get a number 1 seed, it would be very advantageous for them to get to the Final Four in Houston, ironically enough. Because the road would go through Madison Square Garden, a home away from home, almost from UConn. So I think UConn's the best. I don't think that there's a huge gap between like 1-8, 1-9. Even that Arkansas team that lost last night, I mean, they were a play or two, a referee's call away or two from winning. They're number 9 in the country. I think Arizona's pretty good. Purdue's number 1 in the polls right now. But if you're asking me who's the best team in college basketball, I would definitely say it's UConn.
So let's talk a little bit about the Bulls. You were at the Texas Bowl yesterday, right?
Yeah, I was, and man, that was a butt whooping for Ole Miss. Did not expect to see them get their butts kicked in the trenches like they did up front, both offensive line and defensive line. And congrats to Texas Tech, man. Joey McGuire gets that big fat contract and felt like he needed to go out there and prove a point. And Lane Kiffin, I keep going back to it, man. It happened. It's happened so many times these last couple of years in the SEC. This is big boy football. Going for it on 4th down, every 4th down you can. Sometimes you got to take the points. Sometimes you got to kick the field goal or punt. And it's Lane's detriment, man. For this team that was once number 7 in the country, 7-1, to go and lose 4 your last 5, whatever it is, to finish out the season. That's just that really is leaves a bad taste in your mouth if you're an Ole Miss fan. And with all the flirtations with Auburn this offseason and everything else, man, he's going to have to do a lot to win back over that fan base because they didn't have the best signing day. They lost a couple recruits. So, you finish in the 30s with your signing class. You're going to have to go hit the transfer portal again to rebuild this roster. But, man, that was ugly last night.
Well, and also from an A&M perspective, there's a little bit of laughing going on because of how much of a hypocrite Lane is. He's been known to have guys fake injuries before. He got mad at A&M for what we think is legit injuries, but let's say they were faking it, whatever. Yesterday, you saw it happen again.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's again, he's even talked about it, and other coaches have talked about it. That I don't know what the answer is. Like, the only thing I can think is if somebody falls to the ground and it looks like it's a fake injury, like, could you make a rule where that guy has to be out the whole rest of that drive? Like, would that be fair to say? I mean, it sucks if you're a running back and you cramped up and you want to come back in, but I don't know how you make a policy to combat that. But you're right. I mean, we've seen Lane do that time and time again to slow down up-tempo teams, and yet he'll do it with his offense. He wants to go up-tempo, and he gets mad when somebody else falls to the ground. So,
all right, I know he's not going to know what to say. Kevin, I'm going to ask you a question. First off, do you watch YouTube videos?
Every now and then.
Doesn't seem like you're a big YouTube guy.
I'm not a big social media kind of guy.
So if you go to YouTube, are you doing more like how-to, like how to fix a faucet, or are you going for actual content?
No, I'm a how to fix the faucet kind of guy.
When you watch these videos, what do they tell the people to do?
They just show you what to do.
No, but after, or before. They always have a request.
Yeah,
you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, they do.
What do they request?
Oh, man.
I know Matt tried to mouth you the words. It didn't work out too well.
Yeah,
Like, comment, subscribe. Have you heard?
Is that thumbs up button?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Oh, I've heard of it. I've just never,
Will
utilized
you tell the
it.
people to do that?
Yeah, if you're out there in the listening world and watching this, hit the thumbs up, the like. I think that works out for everybody.
Subscribe. That way you
Subscribe.
never miss it. You never miss a rewind.
Comment.
Yeah, comment helps too.
How else can I make this more awkward? Just by looking at you guys.
I'm good.
I feel pretty good.
All right, never mind. Happy New Year.
Manana.